President Trump has announced Vietnam will be the site of his next historic meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Today, we take our own fascinating advance trip to Vietnam, where the U.S. once fought and lost an unpopular war. The winners were communists allied with China. Now, Scott Thuman discovered our former enemy is playing a central role in an economic war between the U.S. and China to their own benefit.
Flying into Hanoi, the city has all the appearance of any other urban landscape on approach, bright lights and friendly skies. But to another generation of Americans, the flight over Hanoi was a totally different experience. That was 47 years ago, the so-called Christmas bombing, part of the last major air offensive of the Vietnam War. For many Americans, the city's name is forever linked with the Hanoi Hilton, the notorious building that housed POWs like John McCain. But this capital and this country have changed dramatically. Vietnam has become something of an odd ally of the United States.
I would argue our partnership with Vietnam has never been stronger, and the fact that we can talk about a partnership with Vietnam, given our complex and tragic history, is quite meaningful and even emotional.
Dan Crittenbrink is the U.S. ambassador to Vietnam, who has spent years representing the United States' interests in Asia.
One of my predecessors in this job made that point to me a couple months back, in which he said, it's close to miraculous what we've achieved here with the Vietnamese, but it is by no means an accident, right? Again, people have worked very hard, taken risks and shown courage to overcome our past and now build this partnership and this friendship.
One that appears much friendlier since the U.S. engaged in what many call a trade war with China. The U.S. imposed tariffs last year on Chinese goods. China retaliated, raising the cost on American companies sending products its way. Some American businesses are considering moving out of China, others bypassing it altogether, setting up shop right here. To many, this is the sound of growth. In 2000, U.S.-Vietnamese trade was just over $1 billion. Now, it's about 40 times that, making America Vietnam's single largest trading partner. Adrian Kwan understands the new dynamic well. He owns a factory assembling high-end photography bags for Peak Design, an American company based in San Francisco.
I was living here like 12 years. In the beginning, it was very hard to see like American brand. There's no Starbucks. There's no Burger King. There's no McDonald's. But since like 5 years, American brand come in and they become like one of part of Vietnamese brand.
It sounds like it's a great idea for American companies to set up here.
It is.
And do you think you're going to see more of them?
I think so, and I hope so.
How much of your product that you make here for an American company gets sent back to America?
It's about like 70%.
70%?
Yes.
It's a big number.
It is.
The labor here is even cheaper in Vietnam than in China. So much so the idea of making those same bags in America is laughable.
Let's say there's one bag like selling like $250, $250. That cost might be like $400.
If it were made in the United States,
yes,
it would cost up to $400.
Yes.
This economic boom growing out of a movement of the 1980s called Doi Moi, economic reforms that helped grow Vietnam dramatically. Its gross domestic product jumping from the equivalent of $36 billion in 1987 to $223 billion in just over 20 years. Another critical number is Vietnam's average age, just 30, meaning 70% of people were born after the fall of Saigon. So to many here, the United States was never an enemy, just an economic opportunity. Dat Tien Vu is a young artist in Saigon who says his people are embracing this new era.
Why do you think there's been that change?
I think they want to embrace like a new peace era or like just like development. They like live comfortably. They want their family to, I don't know, be well-fed and safe. And I think therefore like everybody is more open towards like outside foreigners.
You talk about foreign investment. Last year we saw about $35 billion in foreign investment from the U.S. Is that the tip of the iceberg?
I think there's tremendous potential here.
But it's not all factories and fashion. American movies have also made a home in Vietnam. Kong Skull Island grossed more than $500 million and sparked a desire among U.S. directors. Mai Xiong is a Vietnamese producer who worked on Skull Island and says the industry has surged over the last 3 years.
How busy is it? How much work is out there right now?
If you want, you just constantly working, never stop. Like you can take up a job as much as you want. Of course, if you have skills and everything.
What's the future?
Very bright. I would say there's a lot of like big Hollywood production that looking into here, and they, like a lot of them got permit already. A lot of them are like quite a few of them are in prep. So it's really looking really good, I would say.
The byproduct of all that Hollywood hype? More American tourists fascinated by its beauty, and then there's war tourism. Americans coming to see and understand how this once contentious relationship has transformed, how old enemies have become new friends.
How will Vietnam benefit from the upcoming summit between President Trump and North Korea's leader?
Well, remember, the rivalry with China isn't just economic. Tensions are getting worse in the South China Sea. That's where China is trying to control how many and what goods are coming in and out of the region. So Vietnam would love to get more international support as it becomes a bigger trading partner with the U.S. and other countries. They hope that this summit will help put a spotlight on that problem.
It should. Thanks a lot, Scott.